Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, August 15th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, looking at OPEN, has really come back to life today. Now, it already been creeping up. So if you've been tracking the past top 10 videos, you know that we were tracking it mainly through the trend line here and the 50 period moving average, that purple line. And if you watched the previous video, I hope you remember me saying, you can use either of those or both. But the price did gap down below the trend line this morning, opening 30 minutes. Not great, but I mean, look, you can't make this stuff up. And again, I realize maybe you think I'm just saying this stuff, which I totally get if you're skeptical. So that's a nice thing. Just go back and watch the video from yesterday, from Wednesday, and you'll see me talking about that level. So great to see the price bounce off that level, get back above that trend line, and then from there, came up to the red line right there of resistance, and then it just kept going and going. So, I mean, it really had a strong day. So much so that I'm just going to go ahead and we'll get rid of these lines and just start afresh. And, overall, though, just continue to watch that purple line. So from the overarching standpoint of, say, Clay, I care about the big picture. How can I gauge, again, the overall bigger picture health of things? As long as the price stays above that purple line, then everything is in full control, because that is the 50-period simple moving average. So keyword being moving. So as that line moves higher and higher, again, as long as the price stays over it, then from the overall standpoint, the bulls are still in full control. In terms of areas of resistance, the level that stands out to me that I think is somewhat interesting here is we have this upward trend line. Actually, let's see. Oh yeah, even better. So we have that upward trend line right there. Now, what's interesting about that is, in theory, the price can never, ever break above that line, yet the price would still continually be increasing because that line does have an upward slope to it. So keep an eye on that as that main area of resistance. But if the price does in any way, shape, or form get rejected back down, again, from the big picture, as long as the price stays above that purple line, then everything is still perfectly fine. Next one here, WULF. Very, very nice mover today. And now we just have a question of how big does this breakout want to get. I also want to drop to the daily time frame real quick just to illustrate how high the price has been, and then it has not been up until this part of the chart for literally months upon months upon months. So in fact, this is an old line here that I'll delete out of there. Again, this is the daily time frame, which is what you would typically see. Each one of these candlesticks right now is representing 1 day's worth of price action, which again, you can see over here. But like I said, we will go back down the 30-minute, but we had to go way over here just to find where these next potential battlegrounds are, because again, good problem to have when you're having to go back into, in all actuality, 2024 and 2025 to figure out early 2025 to find these next areas. But the next key battleground to watch moving forward, up here right around that $9 mark, which again is coming here from basically November of 2024 and then even December of 2024. So has not been up here for a very long time. So as we drop back to the 30-minute time frame, just realize that is where that red line was coming from there. In terms of levels of support, preferably speaking, in terms of what would make the chart look the healthiest moving forward, that would be if the price can stay above that trend line right there. But as we just talked about on the first one, from the overarching big picture standpoint, just watch that purple line, and as that purple line moves higher and higher, as long as the price is above that level, then big picture wise, the bulls are still in plenty, they're still in full control. Next one here, TPIC, nice little pattern here. So let's get this pattern drawn into play. Top part of the pattern is we have this area of resistance that's coming down right there. And then bottom part of the pattern, we have this little lower trend line right there. Let's change it to green to represent support. And you could call this a variety of things, somewhat of an ugly bull pennant. But what I would just call it is we have a nice little falling wedge pattern within a bullish context of the bigger move up. And a falling wedge you might think is a bearish pattern, but actually the rising wedge is the bearish pattern. Falling wedge is bullish. Now, just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going up, if only trading were that easy. But is it valid? Is it plausible for you to say that if the price comes up here and pushes through that level, that break right there could create some additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So again, is that guaranteed to happen? No, but is it valid to throw that out there as a question? Absolutely. Next one, TLRY. Overall, things are just fine. Now, there's a little trickiness to this one from a presentation standpoint where I sit, because it's all about perspective. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 12 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart's looking pretty rough, because from that point, there was a bigger pullback. But if you care about the bigger picture point of view, the price is still very much so in an overall uptrend. And I think the easiest way to see that just goes back to the level we've talked about with some of these other ones, and that is that purple line right there, 50-period moving average. As that line continues to move higher and higher, and as you've seen here already, sure, there have been pullbacks along the way. I mean, here was a pretty nasty pullback, but stayed above the purple line and then went to new highs. Here's another pullback here. Now, does that mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to new highs? Of course not, no guarantees. My point here is that as long as the price stays above that purple line, then you don't want to get too panicked from the bearish side of things. In terms of near-term levels of resistance right now, I would say the key battleground, if this overall uptrend is going to eventually continue, is right up there around $1.30. Next one here, XPON, and this one has caught me off guard. Last I was looking at this, it did not look like that, but we'll still talk about it. But yes, again, that's why I like to do these when the market is still open, because this is the action that we can capture. So yes, last 30 minutes here, very, very nasty, rough movement, but that is still bringing it now towards a couple of very important levels. And you can't make this stuff up because yes, you've heard me talk about that purple line over and over again on the past charts. Well, with this very nasty last 30 minutes, the price is now coming well within range of that 50-period moving average, right now valued over here at $1.85. So $1.85, I would say, is definitely a very, very important level of support on Friday. And I'm not saying this will occur, but just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down there and then just break down through, at that point, what would you have? You would quite literally have the price having gone right back to where it started. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make great moves and then go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that is why that $1.85 mark, very, very important. And then in terms of areas of resistance now moving forward, that trend line right there, I think, carries with it quite a bit of a weight. So we'll see if the price can try to curl back upwards. But at this point, in my opinion, top priority is not breaking levels of resistance. Top priority is making sure that this move doesn't completely drive the price right back to where it all began. Real quick, want to take a break and address a very common problem out there that you may be suffering from, and that is the pattern day trading rule. Meaning you'd like to be a day trader defined as having unlimited day trades every single day, but because of that pattern day trading rule, you are limited. Well, if you want to enter into a market that has zero pattern day trading rule, is open 23 hours a day, 6 days a week, then I definitely encourage you to check out the link that you see there, because that'll give you a way to access this market in a very wise manner. And just so you know that I'm not just saying and not putting my money where my mouth is, and if you're a little leery or skeptical, I understand. So that's why I'm inviting you. Come check out the live stream. I've been live streaming and I start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so that you are reminded of when I do go live. But that way you can come see this play out right before your very eyes, ask me questions if you need to. But I want you to know that this is exactly what I've been doing, and it really is an awesome thing, especially if you're somebody that is trapped under and annoyed by that pattern day trading rule. Because again, this is a solution where you could become a day trader and have unlimited day trades every single day. Next one here, SNOA. Talked about this pattern in another one, but we have, so I'm going to go through this a little quicker, but we have ourselves what I would still consider another falling wedge here, which again, falling wedge is bullish. There we go. So there's the top part of the pattern. And there's the bottom part. Really, you could call this a bull pennant too. So whatever floats your boat, I'll put in so you can see it. So there's the resistance part of the pattern. There's the support part. So if you just want to call that a falling wedge, great. If you want to put the pull in play right there for your golfers out there, make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. There would be the bull pennant way of looking at it. But either way, the psychology is the same. There's been a big move up. Now it's pulling back, doing a little bit of consolidation. So now it's just a question of, will the consolidation lead to another surge in momentum? We'll see what happens. Next one, TRIB. Again, all about perspective. Day traders, flippers, scalpers that bought right there. Yeah, this chart's not looking very good for you, but if you care about more so the overall standpoint, price still has plenty of wiggle room, as you can see up there above that 50-period moving average. Although what I'm very curious about right now is that the price is basically right at this lower trend line. So let's change that to green. And as I speak, it's slightly below it. But, supports resistances are not exact specific levels. Sometimes there's a range associated with it. So that's my first big question mark here heading into Friday. Is the price ultimately going to maintain above this? If it does get more momentum to the downside, again, no guarantees. But at that point, it seems more than plausible that the price at minimum goes down and tests that 50-period moving average, the purple line, which right now valued at $1.31. So that's kind of the interesting dynamic that stands out to me is, like I said, can the price maintain right around that area of the trend line or not? If the price does bounce back up, then key area of resistance to watch at that point, right here initially, I would say right around $2.40. Next one here, ONMD, and I'm going to go through this one very quickly because you've already heard me talk about this pattern a couple times before, but we are looking at a bull pennant pattern. And like I said, I want to respect your time as best as possible. So given you've already heard me talk about this, let's just get it mapped out. So there's the resistance, there's the support, and then just because I like to make sure everybody can for sure see it, let's keep it one color. So resistance, support, big move up right here. Golf hole down here, we are now looking at another bull pennant pattern. I'd say the biggest difference here is that this happens to be a penny stock. So if you like penny stocks to trade, you like bull pennants to trade, here you go. Next one, NVIDIA. Not a whole lot to report. Now, don't get me wrong, it started off another crazy start. In fact, this will mean more to those of you that watched yesterday's video. But if you did, hopefully remember me putting in that trend line right there. And look, you can't make this stuff up. Absolutely the power and beautifulness of charts itself. So I'm not saying charts are perfect, but I really do think they're a tool that is worth learning. And here's a real life example of that. Again, if you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back and watch yesterday's top 10 and you'll see I had that trend line in play. But point here being opening 30 minutes, nasty move down, but found support right at that level before an absolutely amazing bounce back in the upwards direction. But then after that, it pretty much just kind of went back into its little smaller range here. And then taking a step back and looking at things from the bigger picture, nothing has really occurred, meaning the price is still well below the key area of resistance right there at 183.90. And the price, although like I said this morning, great bounce off it, but it is now quite a bit up above that trend line right there. So it's just kind of basically a wait and see. The past several days have essentially been just chopping. So still waiting to see which way the price ultimately wants to break. But all in all, like I said, kind of a nothing burger of a day. Again, assuming you're looking at multiple days as we just did here. Next one here is TSLA Tesla. And I'm going to go ahead and first, let's just get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. Because as of now, it's looking like public enemy number one from the resistance side of things is all about that trend line that I put in a couple days ago. Because you can see right here, and I talked about this in yesterday's video, but yesterday this was a problem point. And then this morning, the price tried to bounce and look, and it did a good bounce from its lows. It was bouncing, but literally look right where it got rejected, right at that trend line before a very savage smack to the downside. So overall, that definitely seems to be that key overarching area of resistance. As far as supports are concerned, I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this level down. I should know it's not the end of the world, but whenever levels of support need to be adjusted in the downwards direction, assuming you're bullish, that's not the greatest sign. Again, I'm not saying that means Tesla is a train wreck or anything like that, but just pointing out, yes, when levels are adjusted against you, like I said, if you're bullish and supports are adjusted downwards, not the greatest sign. But moving forward, keep an eye on this level right here at 330.30 as the key initial area of support. If the price comes down there and crashes down through that level, again, I'm not saying it's dropping straight down to there, but any sort of, especially if it's a high volume break of 330, then that's where I could see the price having a realistic chance to go down and start to test that pink line, which is a 200 period moving average, right now valued at 322.25. But so far so good. 330.30 is holding, but maybe the price can try to push up here and get a breakthrough there. So we'll see what happens with it on Friday. So that wraps up the top 10 list. And again, if you are annoyed and frustrated by the pattern day trading rule, maybe you just want a market that moves even better than penny stocks and small caps, which can sound crazy because I get it. Those markets can have big movers, but I'm telling you right now, the market that I've been trading and that this will give you access to, you'll see that those gains are even bigger, especially when you start to use the tools of what's available through the strategy that I've been doing. But again, I understand this can all sound a little sketchy. That's why I'm saying don't take my word for it. Come see it with your very own eyes. Check out the live stream. And like I said, interact with me. Ask me questions on the live stream. I'd be happy to provide any sort of clarification for you. So thanks for watching. As always, if you appreciate these top 10 videos, make sure you hit that like button. And hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.